Chapter 1. Laws of Motion. Motion of an object. Can you tell? In which of the following examples can you sense motion? How will you explain presence and absence of motion? 1. The flight of a bird. 2. A stationary train. 3. Leaves flying through air. 4. A stone lying on a hill. In the above examples, the objects that move from one place to another indicates that they are in motion. Thus, the flight of bird and leaves flying through air show presence of motion, while a stationary train and stone lying on a hill show absence of motion. We see the motion of several objects every day. Sometimes we cannot see the motion of an object directly, as in the case of a breeze. Can you list other examples of motion besides those given here? Walking man, moving ball, swing, etc. In this chapter, we shall study about motion, distance and displacement, acceleration, Newton's law of motion and related equations, displacement and distance. Let's try this. 1. Measure the distance between points A and B in different ways as shown in figure 2. Now, measure the distance along the dotted line. Which distance is correct according to you and why? According to me, the correct distance is that measured with dotted line. A straight line gives an exact distance than the curved line. Speed and velocity. Can you recall? What are vectors and scalars? Vectors are physical quantities which have magnitude as well as direction. Scalars are physical quantities which have magnitude only. Which of the quantities, distance, speed, velocity, time and displacement are scalars and which are vectors? Distance, time, speed are scalar quantities, while velocity, displacement are vector quantities. Speed is equal to total distance travelled upon time required. The distance travelled in a particular direction by an object in unit time is called its velocity. Velocity is equal to displacement upon time. Here, unit time can be 1 second, 1 minute, 1 hour, etc. If large units are used, 1 year can also be used as a unit of time. The displacement that occurs in unit time is called velocity. Always remember, 1. The units of speed and velocity are the same. In the SI system, the unit is meter per second, while in the CGS system, it is centimeter per second. 2. Speed is related to distance, while velocity is related to the displacement. 3. If the motion is along a straight line, the values of speed and velocity are the same, otherwise they can be different. Velocity is the displacement that occurs in unit time. Uniform and non-uniform linear motion. Amar, Akbar and Anthony are travelling in different cars with different velocities. The distances covered by them during different time intervals are given in the table. We have time in the clock, distance covered by Amar in kilometers, distance covered by Akbar in kilometers, and distance covered by Anthony in kilometers. So when the time in the clock is 5, distance covered by Amar, Akbar and Anthony in kilometers is 0. At 5:30, distance covered by Amar is 20, by Akbar is 18 and by Anthony is 14. At 6, distance covered by Amar is 40, by Akbar is 36 and by Anthony is 28. At 6:30, distance covered by Amar is 60, by Akbar is 42, and by Anthony is 42. At 7, distance covered by Amar is 80, by Akbar is 70, and by Anthony is 56. When the time in the clock is 7:30, distance covered by Amar is 100, distance covered by Akbar is 95, and distance covered by Anthony is 70. At 8, distance covered by Amar is 120, by Akbar is 120, and by Anthony is 84. Use your brain power. 1. What is the time interval between the notings of distances made by Amar, Akbar, and Anthony? The time interval between the noting of distances is 30 minutes. 2. Who has covered equal distances in equal time intervals? Amar has covered equal distances in equal time intervals. 3. Are all the distances covered by Akbar in the fixed time intervals the same? No, the distances covered by Akbar in the fixed time intervals are not same. 4. Considering the distances covered by Amar, Akbar, and Anthony in fixed time intervals, what can you say about their speeds? Speeds of Amar and Anthony are uniform and linear motions, and speed of Akbar is non-uniform linear motion. If an object covers equal distances in equal time intervals, it is said to be moving with uniform speed. If an object covers unequal distances in equal time intervals, it is said to be moving with non-uniform speed. For example, the motion of a vehicle being driven through heavy traffic. Equations of motion using graphical method. Newton studied motion of an object and gave a set of 3 equations of motion. These relate the displacement, velocity, acceleration, and time of an object moving along a straight line. Suppose an object is in motion along a straight line with initial velocity u. It attains a final velocity v in time t due to acceleration a. Its displacement is s. The 3 equations of motion can be written as v is equal to u plus at. This is the relation between velocity and time. S is equal to ut plus 1 upon 2 into at square. This is the relation between displacement and time. V square is equal to u square plus 2as. This is the relation between displacement and velocity. Let us try to obtain these equations by the graphical method. Solved examples 1. An athlete runs on a circular track of length 400 meters in 25 seconds and returns to the starting point. Calculate average speed and average velocity. Given, total distance covered is equal to 400 meters. Total displacement is equal to 0 meters per second as he returns to starting point. Total time taken is equal to 25 seconds. What is the average speed and what is the average velocity? We know average speed is equal to total distance covered upon total time taken. Or average speed is equal to 400 upon 25, which equals 16 meters per second. We know average velocity is equal to total displacement upon total time taken. So, average velocity is equal to 0 upon 25, which equals 0 meters per second. So, average speed is equal to 16 meters per second and average velocity is equal to 0 meters per second. Newton's laws of motion. What could be the reason for the following? 1. A static object does not move without the application of a force. 2. The force which is sufficient to lift a book from a table is not sufficient to lift the table. 3. Fruits on a tree fall down when its branches are shaken. 4. An electric fan keeps on rotating for some time even after it is switched off. If we look for reasons for the above, we realize that objects have some inertia. We have learned that inertia is related to the mass of the object. Newton's first law of motion describes this very property and is therefore also called the law of inertia. All instances of inertia are examples of Newton's first law of motion. An object continues to remain at rest or in a state of uniform motion along a straight line unless an external unbalanced force acts on it. When an object is at rest or in uniform motion along a straight line, it does not mean that no force is acting on it. Actually, there are a number of forces acting on it, but they cancel one another so that the net force is zero. Newton's first law explains the phenomenon of inertia. That is, the inability of an object to change its state of motion on its own. It also explains the unbalanced forces which cause a change in the state of an object at rest or in uniform motion. The effect of one object striking another object depends both on the mass of the former object and its velocity. This means that the effect of the force depends on a property related to both mass and velocity of the striking object. This property was termed momentum by Newton. Momentum has magnitude as well as direction. Its direction is the same as that of velocity. In SI system, the unit of momentum is kg meter per second, while in CGS system it is grams centimeter per second. If an unbalanced force applied on an object causes a change in the velocity of the object, then it also causes a change in its momentum. The force necessary to cause a change in the momentum of an object depends upon the rate of change of momentum. When no external force acts on two interacting objects, the total momentum remains constant. It does not change. This is a corollary to Newton's third law of motion. The momentum is unchanged after the collision. The momentum gets redistributed between the colliding objects. The momentum of one of the objects decreases while that of the other increases. Thus, we can also state this corollary as follows. When two objects collide, the total momentum before collision is equal to the total momentum after collision. In order to understand this principle, let us consider the example of a bullet fired from a gun. When a bullet of mass m1 is fired from a gun of mass m2, its velocity becomes v1 and its momentum becomes m1 v1. Before firing the bullet, both the gun and the bullet are at rest, and hence the total initial momentum is zero. According to the above law, the total final momentum also has to be zero. Thus, the forward moving bullet causes the gun to move backward after firing. This backward motion of the gun is called its recoil. The velocity of recoil v2 is such that m1 v1 plus m2 v2 is equal to 0, or v2 is equal to minus m1 upon m2 into v1. As the mass of the gun is much higher than the mass of the bullet, the velocity of the gun is much smaller than the velocity of the bullet. The magnitude of the momentum of the bullet and that of the gun are equal, and the directions are opposite. Thus, the total momentum is constant. Total momentum is also constant during the launch of a rocket. Example: the mass of a cannon is 500 kgs and it recoils with a speed of 0.25 meter per second. What is the momentum of the cannon? Given, mass of the cannon
is equal to 500 kg. Recoil velocity is equal to 0.25 meter per second. What is momentum? Momentum is equal to m into v. Substituting the values, momentum is equal to 500 into 0.25, which equals 125 kg meter per second.
अगर आप अपने सिलेबस के सारे चैप्टर्स इस फॉर्मेट में देखना चाहते हैं तो हमें डिस्क्रिप्शन में दिए गए नंबर पर कॉल करें। ऐसे ही और एजुकेशनल वीडियोस देखने के लिए हमारे चैनल होम रिवाइज को सब्सक्राइब करें।